God told me to give you this message right now. This moment is not a mistake. He's been watching everything that's been happening in your life, and he says your case is now closed, and you won't believe why. So please don't scroll past this. Something powerful just shifted for you. Something spiritual has been released in your favor, and you really need to hear what comes next, because it starts right now. There are forces trying to keep you in the dark, but heaven has already signed your release. This is your confirmation. You've been praying, waiting, and asking God, when will things finally get better? And now He's saying the waiting is over. The decision has already been made. Your miracle is coming. But listen, there's also a warning. If you stop reading now, you could miss the step that opens the door to your blessing. So stay with me to the end, because you're about to understand why your name has just been spoken in heaven. You didn't find this by accident. God arranged this exact moment just for you. You are about to walk into a new season full of healing, answers, peace, and breakthrough. God is saying listen close, because what's about to happen will shift the way you've seen your life until now. Yes, you've been tired. You've been confused, maybe even felt forgotten, but in truth, you just reached a holy turning point. Right now, there's a spiritual battle happening over your future. You've been through pain. You've walked through quiet suffering. Others only saw the struggle, but God saw your heart, and that's why He's moving now. This isn't just an update. This is a heavenly alert. Your waiting season has ended. And to step into what's coming, you must stay alert and open spiritually, because when you receive this with faith, heaven starts acting on your behalf. Something deep down told you it was over, and you were right. Something just ended, but it's not the end of your life, it's the end of your suffering. When heaven closes a case, it means the judgment has been made and settled. Every lie told about you, every delay, every attack, it's over. Heaven has ruled in your favor. The enemy tried to convince you that God's silence meant you were left behind, that closed doors were rejections, and that being alone was punishment. But God says today your case was closed because He's already written your next chapter, and it's full of peace, protection, and blessings. He didn't say, no, He said, not yet. He wasn't ignoring you, He was getting you ready. Because what's coming isn't just what you asked for. It's the full release of everything the enemy tried to block. God saw the nights you cried when no one knew. The days you smiled while hurting. And the times you gave even when you had nothing left. And now, He's restoring everything. But many miss this part. When God closes your case, the enemy tries to fight back and appeal it. That's why things may suddenly feel harder before the blessing hits. Have you noticed strange problems, confusion, tension, delays? That's because your blessing is already on the way. God is saying don't move. Don't panic. This battle belongs to Him. The decision is final, and your victory is closer than you realize. Heaven's court is now quiet, not because God isn't speaking, but because He's already ruled in your favor. You don't need to beg anymore. You just need to believe. You don't need more answers, you need to prepare. Now speak this out loud in faith: I receive this ruling. My case is closed. My miracle is on its way. Write it. Say it. Declare it, because this small act of faith might be the very thing that releases your breakthrough. You're being tested, and you may not even know it. Every believer goes through a moment when God stops explaining and waits to see what you'll do when heaven is quiet and life feels loud. The silence isn't rejection, it's a test. Tests don't come to hurt you. They come to show what's inside you and to get you ready for what's next. Your faith is being tested, not because you're weak, but because you've been chosen. God sees what you do when no one's clapping, when no one says thank you, when it feels like your prayers are bouncing back at you. He sees you. And He's not punishing you, He's preparing you, because the next level requires a deeper faith. Now let me ask, have you been feeling stuck? Like the harder you try, the worse things get? Have people started walking away? Have doors shut that once seemed wide open? That's not random, that's spiritual. It means you're close to your breakthrough. The greatest blessings are always right after the confusion. Before Jesus rose, He was in the tomb. Before the sea opened, there was fear. Before the promise came, there was a wilderness. Now it's your turn. You're being tested, not to prove something to God, but to unlock something inside yourself. He's been preparing you in the silence, keeping you safe in ways you couldn't see, and setting everything up for a major shift. But He had to wait until you were stronger, more clear, and more grounded. That's why some people had to leave. That's why things didn't happen earlier. That's why you faced delays. Because what's coming is so big, your old self couldn't carry it. And here's the key: don't quit now. Your test ends the moment your faith is louder than your fear. Your test ends when you decide that God's truth matters more than your emotions. Heaven is watching your response right now. Stop and speak this out: I will pass this test. I trust God's silence more than the enemy's noise. Type it. Say it. Believe it. This isn't just a quote, it's a declaration. And when you say it, the enemy loses ground. When you say it, heaven opens doors. Say it boldly: your reward is closer than ever. The devil tried to make you quit, but you're still standing. You may have scars, but you didn't give up. You may have lost things, but not your purpose. That's why God says the battle ends now. The delay is broken. The confusion is cancelled. And that means your next season is already on the calendar of heaven, and nothing can block it. But God needs you to be clear, calm, and full of faith. Confusion will come, but you don't have to agree with it. The moment you say, I believe God more than I believe how I feel, things will shift. Do you feel that inside of you? That's not emotion, that's confirmation. You are leaving fear and stepping into faith. You are moving out of the fog and into clarity. Heaven is fixing what the enemy tried to twist. But now God needs your agreement. Say this right now: the devil is a liar. God's plan for me is alive. I believe what God has decided. Say it, because when you do, chains break, fear lifts, truth rises, and your heart lines up with heaven. You're not lost. You're not broken. You're not cursed. You are chosen. This is your confirmation. It's already done. Heaven has made the call in your favor. Now hear this: even when it looks like nothing is changing, God is still moving. Even when your hands feel empty, heaven is full. Even when people gave up on you, God was leaning in closer. You are not behind. You are right where God wants you. Don't doubt in the dark what He told you in the light. Say this now: God is working behind the scenes. I trust His timing over my own plan. Say it in faith, because your trust is powerful. This moment is happening now because it's the right time. You've been wondering, why now, God? Why didn't it happen before? You think about all the nights you cried, the long wait, the deep hurt, and ask why He let it last so long. But here's what you need to know: delay is not denial, it's design. God doesn't work on our schedules. He's outside of time. He sees the whole story at once. And what felt like a long wait was actually perfect timing. He was shaping you while you thought He was quiet. He knew if He gave you the blessing too soon, it would have crushed you, because your heart wasn't ready, your circle wasn't right, your vision wasn't clear. So He waited, not to hold it from you, but to make sure you were ready to carry it right. He was teaching you how to trust in silence. How to grow when nothing made sense. How to worship with nothing, so when the blessing came, you'd never forget who gave it to you. You had to be stripped down so you could be built up stronger. Some seasons weren't about getting what you asked for, they were about building your strength. You had to lose pride, lose old habits, lose people who couldn't go where you're headed. Because your next chapter requires a new you. And now, you're ready. God waited for this exact moment, until your enemies underestimated you, until your prayers matured, until the distractions faded and your heart was locked on Him. And now heaven is releasing everything that's been on hold, the blessings that are marked with your name. The promises that were always yours are now being handed to you, not because you forced them, but because you trusted Him even when it hurt. And now, it's happening, just like He promised. Isaiah 60 verse 22 says, "At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen." And that time is now. God sees what you've been through, and He hasn't forgotten any of it. Every tear, every heartbreak, every moment when you felt like giving up, it was not in vain. What looked like delays were actually signs of divine design. God wasn't ignoring you. He was preparing you for something bigger than you imagined. You needed to grow into the person who could carry this blessing without it breaking you. Sometimes, God doesn't change your situation right away because He's working on changing you first. Now that you've held on through the storm, now that you've trusted Him in the dark, now that you've walked by faith and not by sight, He's saying, "You're ready." The timing is divine. The doors that didn't open before are about to swing wide. The people who left had to go. The jobs you didn't get were never meant to be yours. The love you lost, the dreams that felt like they died, God is breathing new life into all of it. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And now, God is giving you double for your trouble. Where you were broken, He's building. Where you were empty, He's filling. Where you were rejected, He's giving you favor. The pain was real, but so is the promise. God is a redeemer, and what the enemy meant for evil, God is using for good. Right now, something is shifting. You can feel it. It's not just your imagination. It's not just wishful thinking. Heaven is moving. Angels are being assigned. Doors are being unlocked. What's coming will make sense of everything you've been through. You didn't suffer for nothing. You didn't wait for nothing. The prayers, the praise, the patience, it's all coming back to you multiplied. What's next is better than anything you've lost. Your story is not over. In fact, the best chapters are just beginning. God is rewriting your life with joy, peace, love, and overflow. The time of scraping by is over. The time of constantly battling just to survive is ending. God is bringing you into a season where you will thrive. You're not just going to get by, you're going to overflow. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, abundance is your portion. You're stepping into alignment with heaven's will. The struggle gave you strength, and now it's your time to shine. Don't be surprised when people start noticing the favor on your life. Don't be shocked when opportunities show up that you didn't chase. This isn't luck. This is the hand of God. He's moving things behind the scenes. You don't need to force it. Just walk in faith. Stay obedient. Stay humble. And keep your heart clean. God is about to elevate you. Not for your glory, but for His. People will ask how you made it through. They'll wonder how you didn't fall apart. And your answer will be simple: God. He held you up when you were weak. He carried you when you couldn't walk. He spoke to you in whispers when the world was screaming at you to quit. And now, He's showing up in a way that can't be denied. The same God who brought you through is about to show you what all the waiting was for. You're about to walk into rooms where your name was mentioned in your absence. You're about to be offered things you didn't even apply for. This is what divine favor looks like. This is what happens when heaven decides it's your time. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. You've already been approved by God. And when He opens a door, no one can shut it. No enemy, no critic, no past mistake can block what God has released. But this next level will require you to stay spiritually awake. Stay in prayer. Stay in praise. Stay in the Word. Don't get distracted. Don't let pride creep in. Don't let your past talk you out of your future. You've come too far. You've survived too much. Keep your eyes on God, and your feet in faith. Every step you take now is a step closer to the promise. Keep going. Keep believing. You're not walking alone, heaven is walking with you.